what if the same coast that once shipped millions into slavery is now leading a cultural revolution? This is Ghana, where the sound of drums never stopped and the fight for identity never faded. You've heard of the Gold Coast, but what you haven't heard is the real story. From the castles of Elmina to the streets of Accra, every corner tells a story of resistance, rhythm, and rebirth. But Ghana's past isn't just preserved, it's powering its future. The first sub-Saharan colony to win independence in 1957, and today a fast-growing hub for art, tech, and trade. Ancient kingdoms still stand, and a new generation is redefining what African modernity looks like. Stay with us, because this journey will change how you see Africa. The Coast of Memory. To understand how Ghana got here, we have to start on the edge of the sea, at a fortress built for gold, and for something far darker. It all begins where the ocean meets the past. Ghana's southern edge stretches for over 500 kilometers along the Gulf of Guinea, a coastline once glittering with gold, ivory, and promise. But beneath that shimmer lies one of humanity's darkest chapters. In the 15th century, Portuguese explorers anchored off the shores of Elmina. They built the Elmina Castle in 1482, the first European structure in sub-Saharan Africa. Whitewashed walls, arched courtyards, and a view of endless blue. A postcard of paradise, hiding a portal to pain. The dungeons below still smell of iron and damp stone. Chains once clinked where now only tourists whisper. Tens of thousands of men and women were held here, traded for gold, guns, and cloth. Their cries vanished into the surf, but the sea remembers. And yet, even here, Ghana turned tragedy into testimony.
This is a dead cell. No food, no water until you die. There wasn't any light.
Today, the castles of Elmina, Cape Coast, and Fort Amsterdam are UNESCO World Heritage Sites. They stand not as ruins, but as classrooms of the soul. Every guide who walks you through these corridors speaks with reverence, not bitterness. Because Ghanaians know that remembering is a form of resistance. Outside the fortress walls, life bursts back into color. Fishing boats painted red, yellow, and green push out from the sand. Children chase waves with laughter that fills the wind. Markets hum with the scent of smoked tilapia, palm oil, and ripe mango. This is Ghana's alchemy, turning grief into grace. Further west lies Takoradi, Ghana's oil city, where offshore rigs gleam on the horizon. It's a symbol of how the same coastline once drained by exploitation now fuels new prosperity. Cargo ships line the port, carrying cocoa, bauxite, and timber, the raw veins of Ghana's modern economy. But beyond industry lies heritage that refuses to fade. In Ankobra and Busue, local fishermen still sing ancient Fante songs as they pull their nets. Each verse is part prayer, part navigation, part history lesson. And when the sun sets, the horizon burns gold, as if the land is reclaiming its name. From coast to capital, Ghana's heartbeat grows louder. The journey inland begins on the road to Accra, a city where history and ambition collide. Glass towers rise beside colonial bungalows. Street vendors weave between taxis, and the scent of roasted plantain mixes with sea salt. Accra isn't polished. It's alive. Every corner vibrates with rhythm, trade, and talk. And at its heart stands a monument not of conquest, but of liberation. Black Star Square. That's where we're headed next. To the square that turned a colony into a nation, and a people into a symbol of African pride. The City of Independence. Accra isn't a city you observe. It's one you feel. From sunrise to sundown, it vibrates with energy. The chatter of trotro drivers, the crackle of frying oil, the bass lines of Afrobeats leaking from passing cars. It's loud, fast, unapologetic, and deeply symbolic. Because this is where Ghana's freedom first found its voice. In 1957, when Kwame Nkrumah declared independence from British rule, he did it right here, at Black Star Square, under a sky filled with fireworks and hope. The square still stands today, vast and open, framed by the Independence Arch and the Black Star Gate. It's not just a landmark. It's a living reminder that Ghana was the first sub-Saharan African nation to break free from colonial rule. Every year on March 6th, crowds fill this square, waving flags, singing anthems, marching with pride. The air smells of roasted maize and kerosene from parade torches. Children wear miniature uniforms, their faces painted red, gold, and green. For them, independence isn't a story, it's an inheritance. But Accra doesn't live in the past. It builds on it. Drive a few minutes north, and you're in Osu, a neighborhood that feels like a microcosm of modern Ghana. Cafes buzz with artists and entrepreneurs. Murals bloom across crumbling walls. In one corner, the scent of jollof rice drifts from a street stall. In another, tech startups test apps built for the next generation of African users. East Legon hums with that same spirit. Sleek offices, fashion boutiques, and rooftop lounges that could rival any global city. Yet, amid the new skyline, you'll still find street vendors balancing trays of peanuts and sachets of water on their heads. It's a city of contrasts, not contradictions. Because in Accra, tradition isn't erased by progress. It's layered into it. And the deeper you look, the more stories you find beneath the surface. Visit Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, where the marble mausoleum houses the man who dreamed of a united Africa. The fountains whisper beside bronze statues of Nkrumah, raising his hand to the future. He once said, "We face neither east nor west. We face forward." And Ghana still does. From Accra's beaches, Labadi, Kokrabite, Bojo, to its bustling markets like Makola and Kaneshi, the rhythm of life here feels unstoppable. You hear the history, the hustle, the humor, all at once. Accra teaches a simple truth. Freedom is not a finished line. It's something you build, brick by brick, beat by beat. And that rhythm doesn't stop at the capital's edge. Beyond the city, Ghana opens into ancient lands. to royal stools and sacred forests, to kings crowned not by power, but by lineage and duty. Our next stop, Kumasi, the heart of the Ashanti kingdom, where gold still glitters and pride runs deep. The Ashanti legacy. If Accra is Ghana's heartbeat, then Kumasi is its soul. Here, every drumbeat echoes centuries of power, artistry, and resilience. This is the land of kings, the Ashanti Kingdom, one of the most enduring monarchies in Africa. Founded in the late 1600s, the Ashanti Empire grew under Osei Tutu and his priest Okomfo Anokye, who, legend says, called down a golden stool from the heavens. That stool, the Sika Dwa Kofi, didn't seat a king. It held the spirit of the nation itself. To this day, no one sits on it. It rests under guard in Kumasi, shining as the ultimate symbol of unity and pride. Walk through Manhaya Palace, and you'll feel history watching you. The current king, Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, still rules, not through conquest, but through culture. Ceremonies unfold with a choreography unchanged for centuries. Talking drums speak royal messages. Gold-laced umbrellas shimmer in the sun. Chiefs arrive in kente, woven so fine it glows. Gold isn't just a metal here, it's meaning. Every Ashanti ornament tells a story. You'll see weights shaped like crocodiles and eagles, used once to measure gold dust in the markets. Artisans in Antonso still craft adinkra symbols, stamped cloths, bearing proverbs about life, wisdom, and destiny. Each symbol is a philosophy in miniature. Gaya Nyame, except for God. Sankofa, return and get it. A reminder that looking back is sometimes the only way forward. The air in Kumasi hums with this heritage. Markets like Kajetia, one of West Africa's largest, sprawl like a living maze. Over 11,000 stalls sell everything from kente threads to mobile phones. The scent shifts every few steps. Smoked fish, shea butter, hot charcoal. It's chaos, but it's choreography. Everyone knows where they belong in the dance. But Kumasi isn't trapped in tradition. It thrives on reinvention. Local designers are weaving ancient motifs into streetwear. Artists like Kabi Bensi Enchil and Kwabena Danso reimagine royal symbols through modern eyes. It's a fusion of past and present that defines Ghana's creative identity. And yet, amid the buzz of progress, there's reverence. In the royal courtyard, drums still call out news before dawn. Each beat carries memory of wars fought, treaties made, and generations born. The Ashanti say, the forest may burn, but the roots still live. That's Kumasi, rooted in gold, growing through time. But Ghana's story doesn't end with kings and crowns. Further north lies another kind of majesty, one shaped not by gold, but by nature. Savanna plains, ancient mosques, and elephants that walk through mist. The land of Mole, Larabanga, and legends written in dust. That's where we go next, into northern Ghana, where silence speaks and the wild still rules. The wild and the sacred. Leave behind the crowded streets of Kumasi, and the air begins to change. The humidity thins. The roads stretch wide. And soon, Ghana opens into something vast. the savanna of the north. Here, the landscape tells stories older than kingdoms. Red earth, thorn trees, and wide skies stretch endlessly toward the horizon. This is northern Ghana, raw, quiet, powerful. It's a region that holds both spiritual weight and ecological wonder. Our first stop is Larabanga, often called the Mecca of West Africa. Its mud and stick mosque, built in the 1400s, is Ghana's oldest Islamic structure. Whitewashed walls curve like waves, and the wooden stakes jutting from its sides serve as both decoration and scaffolding. When the call to prayer rises, it blends with birdsong and the rustle of the wind, faith, nature, and time in perfect harmony. But the north holds another kind of temple, one carved by nature itself. Just beyond Larabanga lies Mole National Park, Ghana's largest wildlife reserve. Over 4,800 square kilometers of grassland, rivers, and wilderness. It's home to elephants, antelopes, baboons, and leopards, all moving freely across the land. If you're lucky, you'll spot a herd of elephants bathing in a pond at dawn, the water glowing gold under the first light. There are no fences here, just coexistence. The guides, often locals from surrounding villages, read the land like a book. They point out prints in the dust, the direction of wind, the call of a distant hornbill. Their knowledge isn't from textbooks. It's inherited, lived, sung. And north of Mole, another story rises, one built from mud and spirit. In the Upper East region, the villages of Sirigu and Congo showcase a different Ghana, where art is architecture. The houses are painted in red, white, and black geometric designs, passed down through generations of women artists. Each wall is a canvas of family symbols, a visual diary of births, harvests, and prayers. In Tongo Hills, the rocks form natural shrines, believed to house ancestral spirits. Every sound, from wind to drum, is treated as sacred communication.
Whoa, we out here, man!
This is where Ghana feels ancient and alive at once. Evening falls, and the northern horizon burns with amber light. Children run through fields chasing shadows. Women return from the wells with silver bowls balanced on their heads. And somewhere in the distance, a drumbeat begins, faint, steady, familiar. It's the same rhythm heard in Accra, in Kumasi, on the coast. Because no matter how far you travel in Ghana, that pulse never changes. It's the rhythm of resilience, echoing from forest to savanna, from past to future. But now, the story turns homeward, to the coast once more, where Ghana's new generation is building something the world can't ignore, a creative and cultural renaissance rising from the heart of West Africa. The new gold, Ghana's creative renaissance. Return to the coast, and you'll hear a different rhythm now, not from drums or waves, but from speakers, studios, and street corners. This is the new Gold Coast, where creativity has become the country's greatest export. Because Ghana's real treasure today isn't mined, it's made. In Accra's Jamestown, graffiti spills across colonial walls, bright and defiant. Artists like Mo Awudu and Bright Aquer turned politics into murals, using color as protest. You'll find sculptors working beside fishermen, dancers rehearsing next to food stalls. Here, art doesn't live in galleries. It lives in the streets. Walk a few blocks and you'll hear another kind of energy. Music. Afro beats, high life, hip life. Ghana's soundscape is a fusion of tradition and innovation. Names like Sarkodie, Stoneboy, and Amarai carry Ghana's voice to the world, blending Twi lyrics with global beats. At night, rooftop bars light up the skyline, laughter, rhythm, and ocean breeze all mixing into one pulse. But this wave of creativity isn't just entertainment. It's identity reborn. Across the city, young designers are redefining what Made in Ghana means. At Nubuka Foundation and Ano Gallery, exhibitions showcase art that challenges the old narrative, not Africa as poverty, but Africa as power, imagination, and design. Fashion houses like Christie Brown and Studio 189 turn kente and batik into international statements of pride. Their fabrics tell stories of family, faith, and fierce individuality. Even technology follows the same current. In East Legon, Tema, and Kumasi Hive, startups are using digital tools to connect farmers, preserve languages, and archive oral histories. What began as a gold rush has evolved into a mind rush. And through it all, Ghana still knows how to celebrate. Every December, the world comes to Accra for Deti December, a festival season that's become Africa's version of Carnival meets Coachella. From Afrochella to street parades in Osu, the air fills with sound, light, and joy. It's more than tourism, it's a homecoming. A reconnection of the diaspora to their roots, to the warmth that never left. Because that's the essence of Ghana, hospitality. Whether you're from across the border or across the ocean, someone will greet you with a smile and the word Akwaba. Welcome. It's not just a phrase, it's a philosophy. And as Ghana looks toward its next chapter, the promise is clear. The same coast that once shipped gold and sorrow now exports creativity, culture, and confidence. Its people are turning pain into pride, memory into movement, and history into hope. But before we close this journey, there's one more truth to uncover. The thread that ties it all together, the spirit that endures through every wave and every generation. That's where we end, in Ghana's heartbeat itself. The heartbeat of Ghana. If you strip away the gold, the monuments, the markets, what's left? People. That's Ghana's greatest monument. Because every smile, every rhythm, every welcome is its own story of survival and grace. Travel through any Ghanaian village and you'll see it. The daily choreography of life, unfolding with quiet dignity. Children in bright uniforms walking dusty roads to school. Women pounding fufu in rhythm, laughter cutting through the afternoon heat. Old men sitting under neem trees, debating politics, sipping palm wine. Each gesture carries memory, a reminder that progress here was built not just through independence, but through interdependence. Ghanaians call it Ubuntu in spirit, though the word is Southern African. I am because we are. It's the thread that holds this nation together, and you can feel it strongest where community and faith meet. In Cape Coast, Sunday mornings start with choirs that spill into the streets. In Tamale, the muezzin's call drifts over the roofs as dawn breaks. In the Volta region, the drums begin before sunrise, echoing across the hills. Every sound is a prayer. Every gathering a testament to unity in diversity. The nation has over 70 ethnic groups and over 80 languages, yet somehow it moves as one, through music, respect, and a shared sense of pride. And that pride shows not just in words, but in how Ghanaians live. Education here is sacred. The University of Ghana, founded in 1948, stands as a beacon for West African scholarship. Villages pool resources to send their brightest students to Accra. Innovation programs like One District, One Factory, and Free SHS are reshaping the idea of opportunity. Even abroad, the Ghanaian diaspora remains deeply connected. Whether it's London, Toronto, or New York, you'll find communities wearing kente, hosting Independence Day dinners, and still sending remittances back home, nearly $4.5 billion annually. That flow of care keeps the national heartbeat steady, no matter how far it travels. But perhaps Ghana's real miracle is emotional, not economic. Despite the hardships, inflation, droughts, global shifts, there's a calm defiance here, a refusal to lose optimism. Because Ghanaians know something the world often forgets. Calling hope is a resource too. Evening falls again on the coast. Children chase footballs through the sand. The ocean hums beneath the same sun that watched empires rise and fall. Somewhere, a fisherman hums an old Fante song, half prayer, half promise. The cycle continues. The coast endures. The gold still shines, just in a different form. And that brings us full circle, back to the beginning, back to the name that never stopped meaning more than wealth. Because Ghana's story isn't about what was taken, it's about what could never be taken away. So, where does all this leave Ghana? It's a country that refuses to be simplified. Neither a postcard paradise nor a struggling frontier. It's both. A place that's still rebuilding, still dreaming, and still teaching the world what it means to rise again. From the cocoa fields to the gold mines, from the surf towns to the tech hubs of Accra, Ghana is rewriting its own story, not as the Gold Coast of the past, but as a nation of hope, creativity, and quiet power. The rhythms of the drum, the warmth of a smile, the courage of independence, they all beat in time here. And if you listen closely, you'll hear it. A country that knows exactly where it came from and isn't afraid of where it's going next. Because this isn't just a place of history, it's a place of becoming. This is Ghana, the Gold Coast of history and hope. What comes to mind when you hear Kenya? Safari? Lions? Maybe. Nothing at all. But what if I told you it's one of the most surprising countries on Earth? place where ancient human history was born, and where the future of African tech is being built right now, where Maasai warriors still herd cattle, while coders launch startups from rooftop cafes, where kids run barefoot in Olympic towns and win gold, where 47 cultures speak in rhythm but move as one. This isn't the Kenya from postcards, and this is the Kenya you've never seen, and once you do, you won't forget it. Let's start where a lot of stories here begin, in the Highlands, mountains, farms, cold mornings, and the roots of Kenya's economy, culture, and even its name. The Highlands, cradle of the clouds. Dawn breaks over Mount Kenya, Africa's second highest peak, rising 5,199 meters into the clouds. The Kikuyu call it Kirinyaga, the mountain of brightness. To them, it's not just geography, it's sacred ground, where their ancestors believed God himself rested. Here, the air feels sharper. The wind carries the scent of dew and soil, cool, earthy, almost electric. Every ridge tells a story of creation and survival. At these altitudes, life grows in layers. Bamboo forests give way to alpine meadows, then to glacial ice older than recorded time. And scattered along the slopes, terraced farms of tea and coffee, two crops that changed Kenya's destiny. Each year, Kenya exports over 450,000 metric tons of tea, making it the world's largest tea exporter. Most of it comes from these misty highlands, Kericho, Nandi, Nyeri, where the soil is volcanic and the rain never forgets to fall. The rhythm of the land shapes the rhythm of life. Before sunrise, you'll see silhouettes of workers moving between rows of emerald green. Their baskets, woven from sisal, fill with leaves that will circle the globe. Each sip of English breakfast carries a whisper from here, from the slopes of Kirinyaga. But this land holds more than crops. It holds time itself. Just west of the mountain lies the Great Rift Valley, a scar across the continent, stretching 6,000 kilometers from Lebanon to Mozambique. Here, at sites like Kubifora and Olorgesailie, archaeologists unearthed the oldest known tools of humankind, some dating back 1.7 million years. That means before there were nations, before there were words, there was Kenya. Every valley here is a memory of fire and rebirth. You can almost hear it in the wind, the hiss of ancient lava cooling, the whisper of evolution itself. Yet the highlands aren't frozen in history. They hum with movement. Tractors replacing oxen, rural markets buzzing with mobile payments. Kenya's M-Pesa, born from these same communities, became Africa's most successful mobile money system, linking farmers, families, and futures. Progress and tradition, side by side, like terraces on a hill. The old ways aren't gone. They're adapting. One text message, one seed, one sunrise at a time. And if you look closely, you'll see how faith still meets the horizon. Every morning, elders face Mount Kenya to pray. Their eyes trace the first light as it spills over the peaks. It's a ritual both ancient and modern, a moment that binds the digital age to the dawn of humanity. In the cradle of clouds, Kenya remembers who it was and imagines who it can be. Because here, the mountain doesn't just rise above the land, it rises within it. And from these highlands, the journey descends toward the lakes, the savannas, and the heartbeat of East Africa. The Great Rift, where Earth split and life began. The Earth doesn't just lie still here, it breathes. From the highlands, the land suddenly falls away, a sheer drop that opens into a world of fire, water, and memory. This is the Great Rift Valley, one of the most dramatic scars on the planet, stretching 6,000 kilometers across Africa, visible even from space. It began 25 million years ago, when tectonic plates tore apart, splitting the continent in two. And from that rupture, life found its stage. At Lake Turkana, fossils of early humans, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, lie buried beneath a millennia of dust. This is where the human story was first written, not in ink, but in volcanic ash. Archaeologists call it the cradle of mankind, but locals know it as something more living, a place where the earth remembers. Every shift in the soil feels like a heartbeat from the planet itself. Even the lakes here are alive. Turkana, Nakuru, Naivasha, Baringo, each with its own temperament. Turkana, the desert giant, turquoise by day, obsidian by night. Nakuru, a shimmering mirror where thousands of flamingos gather, turning the water blush pink. Naivasha, calm and fertile, fringed by acacia and home to hippos that grunt beneath the moonlight. Listen closely, and you'll hear the valley's dual rhythm, silence and eruption. Beneath your feet, geothermal power roars unseen. Kenya now draws over 45% of its electricity from these fiery depths, making it a leader in renewable energy across Africa. This is a land that turns chaos into creation, lava into life, fault lines into frontiers. But amid all this raw power, life remains tender. Maasai herders guide their cattle across the plains, their red shukas glowing against the dust. Each movement feels choreographed, centuries of survival distilled into grace. They know the valley's moods like a language, when to move, where to find water, how to listen when the sky goes silent. And yet, change is seeping in. Wind turbines now spin over Lake Turkana, Africa's largest wind farm, producing 310 megawatts of clean power. A new kind of hum joins the soundscape, the fusion of tradition and technology. Still, the rift never stops moving. Every year it widens, a few millimeters at a time. Slow, unstoppable, like history itself. One day, scientists say, the valley will split the continent in two. But for now, it holds the center of everything, past, present, and possible. You can stand at its edge and see all of time at once, the bones of the first humans beneath you, the thunder of turbines ahead, and between them, the whisper of wind stitching eras together. This is where life began. And in Kenya, it's still beginning, again and again. From the depths of the rift, we'll rise next to where the desert meets the sea, and history takes the shape of kingdoms. The coast, kingdoms of salt and spice. When the air turns heavy with salt and the wind smells of cloves, you've reached the Swahili coast, a place where continents met not by conquest, but by tide, where Africa turned its face toward Arabia, India, and beyond, and never turned away. For over 1,000 years, this shoreline has been a living crossroad. From Lamu to Mombasa, dhows with triangular sails once drifted in on monsoon winds, carrying gold, ivory, and stories. And in return, glass beads, spices, silk, and Islam. Lamu, Kenya's oldest living town, still moves to that ancient rhythm. Founded in the 14th century, its narrow alleys twist between coral stone walls, echoing with the call to prayer. There are no cars here, only donkeys and footsteps, and yet it hums with a quiet confidence, as if time itself agreed to linger. Every wall here tells of trade and transformation. Arabic script carved above Swahili doorways, wooden balconies latticed like lace. Even the air carries a memory. Cinnamon, seawater, and the slow creak of wooden hulls drying in the sun. The Swahili culture that emerged here was Africa's first global fusion. Language blended from Bantu roots, Arabic rhythm, and Persian melody. Cuisine mixing coconut and cardamom. Architecture balancing coral and coral lime, soft yet enduring. It's why UNESCO calls Lamu a masterpiece of human creativity. But this coast has always been more than beauty. It's been a frontier of power. When the Portuguese arrived in 1498, led by Vasco da Gama, they built Fort Jesus in Mombasa to guard the trade routes. The fort still stands, its cannons silent, its walls scarred by centuries of struggle between Arabs, Portuguese, and later the British. And yet, the Swahili spirit endured, flexible, adaptive, quietly proud. It absorbed influences like the sea absorbs rivers, changing color, never character. Today, the coast glitters again, but differently. Luxury resorts line Diani Beach, kite surfers dance with the monsoon, and coral reefs bloom beneath turquoise water. Tourism brings billions, but so does something older: fishing, weaving, and the rhythm of tides. Listen long enough, and you'll still hear the whispers of the old kingdoms. Kilwa, Pate, Malindi, names that once lit up the Indian Ocean trade routes like stars on a sailor's map. Every wave here carries a legacy of sailors and poets, of merchants and mothers, of words born in Zanzibar and sung in Nairobi. And when the tide pulls back, you realize this isn't just Kenya's coast, it's Africa's handshake with the world. Because long before the world came to Kenya for safaris, it came here for connection. From the edge of the sea, our journey now turns inland to the cities where tradition meets tomorrow. Nairobi, the city that runs on rhythm. If the coast is Kenya's memory, Nairobi is its heartbeat. Perched at 1,795 meters above sea level, this city never sleeps. It sprints. In just over a century, it's grown from a railway camp to a metropolis of over 5 million people. You feel Nairobi before you see it. The buzz of matatus, minibus taxis painted in graffiti and gospel quotes, thundering through the streets, bass lines spilling from speakers, horns, laughter, Swahili slang, and the hum of a city learning its next rhythm. They call it the Green City in the sun, and yet it's also a city of steel and screens. Here, modernity isn't imported, it's improvised. Glass towers rise beside open-air markets. Office workers swipe mobile payments for street food. Innovation and improvisation blur into one. This is where Kenya's digital revolution began. In 2007, M-Pesa turned the simple act of texting into an economy. Today, over 96% of Kenyan households use mobile money, a world record. From the Highlands farmers to city traders, everyone's connected, literally, by code and courage. Yet, beneath the tech and traffic, Nairobi still carries the echoes of its past. The old railway line that gave it life still runs through its center. The name itself, from the Maasai phrase, Enkare Nairobi, the place of cool waters, reminds you that this was once a swamp, not a skyline. Now, it's Africa's fourth-largest tech hub, the Silicon Savannah. Startups bloom beside giraffes, literally, because just 15 minutes from the skyscrapers lies Nairobi National Park, the only capital city on Earth where lions roam against a backdrop of office towers. Few places capture contrast like this. A place where a coder can debug lines of Python while hearing the distant roar of a lion. Where Maasai beadwork is sold beside drone parts. Where future and folklore share a table at the same cafe. But Nairobi is more than its paradoxes. It's a forge of identity, where rural meets urban, old meets new, and every dialect finds a home. Over 40 ethnic groups live here, and yet the city speaks one language: ambition. Art spills into the streets. Graffiti walls in Kibera, open-air concerts in Uhuru Park, fashion markets under jacaranda blooms. Each color, beat, and voice insists. This is what African modernity looks like. And when night falls, Nairobi shifts gears again. Rooftop bars hum with Afrofusion. The skyline flickers. And somewhere, a matatu revs, headlights glowing like pulse beats in the dark. Nairobi runs on rhythm, but it never forgets its melody. A city born from the railway, raised by resilience, and wired for the future. From here, our road stretches north, into lands where silence still speaks. Toward the deserts, the nomads, and the beating soul of resilience, northern Kenya. The north, land of dust and dignity. Up here, the road forgets what pavement means. Beyond Isiolo, the tarmac thins into dust, and the horizon stretches wider than thought. This is northern Kenya, Turkana, Marsabit, Samburu, and Mandera, regions where the sun rules, the land tests, and people endure with quiet strength. The light feels different here. Harsher, yes, but honest. The air smells of dust and distance, and every silhouette, a camel, a herder, a lone acacia, looks carved from bronze. For centuries, nomads have moved across these plains like clockwork, following the rhythm of rain and pasture. The Samburu, cousins of the Maasai, adorn themselves in beads that glint like sunrise. The Turkana, wrapped in ochre shawls, carry spears and stories older than memory. Here, wealth isn't measured in coins, it's measured in cattle. And yet, the struggle is real. In the dry season, temperatures climb past 40 degrees Celsius, and water can mean life or loss. But even in scarcity, there's grace. Wells are shared between rival tribes, a quiet peace pact beneath the desert sky. Then there's Lake Turkana, the Jade Sea, a vast inland ocean shimmering green in the heart of the desert. At 250 kilometers long, it's the world's largest desert lake. Its shores hold secrets from humanity's beginning, fossils, stone tools, and the imprints of those who first walked upright. Today, its waters tell another story of resilience under pressure. Climate change, dams, and development projects strain its fragile balance. But the people here adapt with solar wells, community projects, and wind energy from the 310-megawatt Lake Turkana wind farm, one of the largest in Africa. It's not a place of plenty, it's a place of truth. Every drop of water is earned. Every sunrise is a small victory. And in that fight, there's dignity, the kind born from persistence, not comfort. Yet even here, the world is catching up. Mobile clinics reach nomadic routes. Drones deliver medical supplies to villages beyond the maps. And school children, barefoot and beaming, recite lessons under acacia shade, proof that the horizon is shifting. In the stillness, you feel the weight of humanity's first footsteps, how far we've come, and how fragile the path remains. Northern Kenya doesn't ask to be romanticized. It asks to be understood, because here, progress doesn't roar. It whispers. And survival isn't a struggle. It's a story of grace. In the land of dust and dignity, you don't find comfort. You find courage. The kind that built nations, preserved cultures, and kept hope alive when rain didn't come. From this quiet resilience, we turn toward Kenya's soul, the people who bind it all together. The artists, farmers, elders, and dreamers who make Kenya more than a landscape. They make it a living legacy. The people. Kenya's living legacy. In Kenya, the land is vast, but it's the people who give it meaning. Every valley, every market, every song begins and ends with them. More than 47 million voices, speaking over 60 languages, yet somehow singing the same chorus, Harambee. All pulled together. From the Kikuyu farmers of Nyeri to the Swahili traders of Mombasa, the rhythm of Kenya isn't just seen, it's felt. It's in the laughter that erupts during a roadside meal, in the hum of weaving looms in Kisii, in the steady beat of hammers in Kibera, where scrap metal becomes sculpture. This country is a mosaic in motion, each tribe, each tongue, a tile in a larger design. The Luo bring their music, the Kalenjin their runners, the Luhya their dancers, the Kamba their craftsmanship. Together, they create something impossible to imitate, a harmony of difference. And if you want to see that spirit in motion, watch Kenya run, literally. In the cool dawn of Aitan, a small town perched 2,400 meters high, you'll find the world's greatest long-distance runners, training on red dirt roads. This place has produced more Olympic champions per square kilometer than anywhere else on Earth. Discipline, humility, endurance, not just sportsmanship, but a metaphor for the nation itself. But Kenya's genius isn't only on the track. It's in innovation labs in Nairobi, in the storytelling of filmmakers, in the sound of Afropop merging with tradition. Artists like Sauti Sol and Alani blend ancestral rhythms with modern pulse, proof that the country's creativity runs as deep as its rivers. Listen long enough, and you'll hear the country's dual melody, pride and progress. The elders passing down proverbs by firelight. A people without a heritage are trees without roots, and the youth turning those words into beats, films, and apps. The old and the new don't collide here. They collaborate. Education, too, is changing the rhythm. Literacy now stands above 82%, and classrooms reach far into the countryside. Even in remote areas, solar tablets replace chalkboards, connecting children to the world, one lesson, one dream at a time. And through it all, faith weaves quietly. Church bells and mosque calls, sometimes side by side. Not competing, just coexisting like the land itself. Kenya's real beauty isn't in its parks or peaks. It's in its people's persistence, in how they turn droughts into harvests, division into dialogue, and hardship into song. Because while the world comes here seeking nature, what it finds is humanity. And as our journey nears its end, we return to where it all began, not the mountain, not the valley, but the idea of Kenya itself, a place forever balancing past and future. So what is Kenya, really? It's not just a country you visit. It's a country that stays with you, a land that keeps its heartbeat steady between two worlds, the one that moves forward and the one that never left. You come chasing lions and landscapes, but what you remember are the people. The fisherman on Lake Victoria casting his net at dawn, the Samburu elder wrapped in red, telling stories that stretch beyond memory, the Nairobi artist who paints skyscrapers and acacia trees in the same frame. Because in Kenya, progress doesn't erase the past. It stands beside it. Here, time doesn't move in straight lines. It loops from ancient footprints in the Rift Valley to solar farms on the same soil, from the roar of a matatu in the city to the silent rhythm of a Maasai dance. And as you leave, you realize Kenya isn't beyond the safari. The safari was just your entry ticket. The real journey is into life itself, raw, radiant, unapologetic, because this is a country that refuses to be simplified. It's not the savannah, not the skyline, not the coffee, not the coastline. It's the space between them, where the wild meets the human, where the past meets the possible. That's Kenya, not a destination, an awakening. What comes to mind when you hear South Africa? Safari, wine, maybe, Table Mountain. But what if I told you it's one of the most extreme countries on Earth? A place where the oldest human fossils were found, and where modern cities rise like glass towers against deserts and oceans. Where 11 languages weave through streets alive with history, music, and markets. Where adventure junkies dive with great whites, and daredevils leap from the world's highest commercial bungee. This isn't the South Africa from travel brochures. And this is the South Africa you've never seen. And once you do, it'll stay with you. Let's start at the heart of extremes, where land, people, and stories collide in ways you'll have to see to believe. Land of extremes, where worlds collide. South Africa's story begins with its land, a country of sharp contrasts, where extremes collide at every turn. Imagine standing at the edge of the Kalahari Desert. The red sand stretches endlessly, dry and unyielding under the sun. Yet just a few hundred kilometers away, rainforests and waterfalls pulse with life. This is a place where nature refuses to be ordinary. Take Table Mountain in Cape Town. Over 260 million years old, its flat summit is often shrouded in a tablecloth of clouds, and from its heights, the Atlantic Ocean stretches to the horizon like liquid steel. Hike its trails, and you'll feel the weight of history. Every rock, every fern, every gust of wind a reminder that this land has endured more than most. Below, the city hums, a mixture of colonial architecture and modern glass towers. Now, let's pivot inland to the cradle of humankind, just outside Johannesburg. UNESCO calls it a World Heritage Site for a reason. Some of the oldest hominid fossils ever discovered were found here, dating back over 3 million years. You can almost hear whispers of our ancestors echoing through limestone caves and excavation sites, connecting the distant past with the bustling urban present. Johannesburg itself is a city of extremes, gold rush history, rubbing shoulders with cutting-edge fintech startups, street markets alive with color, and neighborhoods where every corner tells a story. Driving along the Western Cape, you hit Route 62, the longest wine route on Earth, stretching over 850 kilometers. Vineyards spill over valleys like green oceans, mountains rising behind them like silent guardians. But don't let the serenity fool you. Here, adventure waits around every bend. From shark cage diving near Gansbaai to bungee jumping off Bluekran's Bridge, adrenaline junkies find every reason to push the limits. South Africa doesn't do moderation. It does extremes. And then there's wildlife. This is one of the few countries where you can see the Big Five in a single safari. Lions basking in golden light, leopards slinking through brush, elephants thundering across savannas. And if that wasn't enough, penguins waddle along the shores of Boulder's Beach, a reminder that nature loves to surprise. Even the ostrich, Earth's largest bird, can sprint past 70 kilometers per hour. A creature built for extremes, just like the land it calls home. South Africa's extremes aren't just natural, they're cultural too. "11 official languages create a mosaic of voices, music, and stories. The Rainbow Nation isn't just a nickname, it's a reality, visible in cities, townships, and rural villages alike. And in Cape Town, you can trace history to Dr. Christian Barnard, performing the world's first successful heart transplant in 1967. Proof that this country's extremes touch every field, from biology to architecture to sport. And if you think that's all, just wait. Let me show you South Africa's thriving cities, where urban extremes meet human ingenuity in ways you won't believe. Urban extremes, cities that never sit still. Step into South Africa's cities, and you'll see extremes in motion. Take Johannesburg, often called Joburg or Igolai, the city of gold. Skyscrapers glitter with corporate ambition, while a few streets away, informal markets burst with energy, color, and life. It's a city built on contradictions, wealth and struggle, history and innovation, dust and glass. Walk past Maboneng Precinct, and you'll find street art and rooftop cafes buzzing with tech startups, blending creativity and commerce in a way few cities can match. Pretoria, the executive capital, tells a different story. Boulevards lined with jacaranda trees explode in violet every spring, softening the city's formal government buildings. You can feel authority in the air. The Union buildings, standing like a fortress overlooking the city. But culture thrives here too. Museums, art galleries, and lively markets remind you that politics isn't the only story South Africans live. Then there's Cape Town, perhaps the most extreme city in the country. Nestled between the jagged peaks of Table Mountain and the roaring Atlantic, it's a city of cinematic landscapes. Waterfronts hum with tourists, street performers, and restaurants serving everything from local bobo tea to modern fusion cuisine. Yet within a short drive, you can be in the winelands of Stellenbosch or the rugged cliffs of Cape Point, where oceans crash like a symphony against rock. Cape Town doesn't just live on extremes, it celebrates them. Durban brings a completely different vibe. Indian Ocean beaches stretch endlessly, while markets and curry houses showcase the city's Indian influence. Surfing, paragliding, and kite surfing aren't just hobbies here, they're a lifestyle. And when the sun sets, the city pulses with music and nightlife that feel almost limitless. Even the smaller towns are extremes in miniature. Oudtshoorn, home of the ostrich farms, offers the Congo caves nearby, limestone formations older than the pyramids of Egypt, draped in stalactites and stalagmites that seem to reach for eternity. Here, history, nature, and culture collide in ways that feel larger than life, even in a town of just tens of thousands. South Africa's urban extremes aren't just about landscapes. They're about people. In every city, township, and village, you'll find stories of innovation, resilience, and identity. 11 official languages create a rhythm you can hear in street music, in markets, in casual conversations. You'll catch Xhosa clicks in the marketplace, Afrikaans in a coffee shop, English in skyscrapers, and Zulu in the suburbs, all flowing together in an energetic, sometimes chaotic, but always fascinating harmony. And if you think city life is only fast and modern, think again. Cape Town's District 6 whispers stories of apartheid-era displacement. Johannesburg's gold mines echo the triumphs and struggles of miners. Each city holds layers of extremes, waiting to be explored, understood, and experienced. Now, let's leave the cities behind and head into South Africa's wild heart, where deserts, savannas, and oceans converge to create landscapes you'll barely believe exist. Wild extremes, nature that refuses to play small. Step outside the cities, and South Africa's landscapes explode with extremes. The country is a living showcase of contrasts. Deserts that burn under the sun, lush valleys that shimmer after rainfall, and oceans that crash against cliffs with relentless force. Start in Kruger National Park, one of Africa's largest game reserves. Here, you can witness the Big Five roaming freely: lions lounging in golden grass, elephants thundering across plains, rhinos grazing silently, buffaloes forming powerful herds, and leopards slipping through shadows like ghosts. Every safari is different, every encounter unpredictable. Then there's the garden route along the southern coast. In less than a day, you can move from misty mountains to endless beaches, to dense forests dripping with ferns. Storms roll in from the Indian Ocean, painting the skies in shades of gray and violet, while whales breach offshore in a breathtaking spectacle. Adventure isn't optional here. It's built into the landscape. Shark cage diving in Gansby is a must for adrenaline junkies. And if you prefer land, Blukran's Bridge offers the highest commercial bungee jump in the world. Only in South Africa can fear and beauty coexist in such close proximity. Heading west, the Congo caves near Oudtshoorn plunge deep underground. Limestone formations, some over 20 million years old, twist and soar like frozen sculptures. Walking through these narrow passageways, you feel both ancient and alive. A reminder that South Africa's extremes aren't just on the surface, they're carved into the earth itself. Just outside, the ostriches of the Karoo stretch their long necks, running faster than you'd imagine possible. The largest birds on Earth racing across flat plains as if mocking gravity. And let's not forget, the African penguins at Boulders Beach near Cape Town. Yes, penguins. In Africa, tiny, tuxedoed birds waddling along sun-drenched sands, completely at home next to surfers and sunbathers. It's the kind of surreal twist that makes South Africa unforgettable, where extremes collide and nature refuses to follow the rules. Even the skies tell a story. Sunsets here are epic. The desert glows like molten copper, oceans sparkle with fiery streaks, and mountains turn violet as the day folds into night. Birdsong fills the air, from tiny sunbirds to the booming calls of ostriches, creating a symphony that is uniquely South African. But South Africa's extremes aren't only about spectacle. They're about survival. The flora and fauna adapt in ways that seem almost impossible. Succulents storing water for months, predators coordinating with silent precision, and humans finding harmony with the land, from the ancient sand people to modern conservationists. Now, we'll leave the wild behind and dive into the cultural extremes, where people, history, and language create a mosaic as breathtaking and complex as the landscapes themselves. Cultural extremes, the Rainbow Nation in motion. Step into the streets, markets, and townships, and you quickly realize South Africa's extremes aren't just natural, they're human. 11 official languages ripple through daily life: Zulu, Xhosa, Afrikaans, English, and 7 others, each carrying its own rhythm, tone, and story. Walk through Cape Town's neighborhoods, and you'll hear a symphony of voices, some blending effortlessly, some clashing, all painting the vibrant picture of the Rainbow Nation. History leaves its mark everywhere. In Cape Town, District 6 whispers tales of forced removals during apartheid. Johannesburg's gold mines echo stories of miners who built the city with sweat and sacrifice. Museums and monuments across the country preserve these extremes of triumph and tragedy, reminding you that this is a nation constantly reshaping itself. You can feel the tension between past and present, between pain and resilience, in every corner. And yet, the extremes aren't only historical. Modern South Africa pulses with creativity. Street art explodes on city walls. Music, from jazz to kwaito to amapiano, fills every space, and festivals draw communities together in ways that feel both spontaneous and deliberate. Markets like Johannesburg's Neighbor Goods Market or Durban's Victoria Street buzz with scents, colors, and flavors from across the country. Spicy curries, freshly baked breads, and fruits you've never seen before. Every step, every interaction is a lesson in contrast. Old traditions meeting modern innovation, quiet resilience beside loud celebration. Cape Town tells another story. It's the city where Dr. Christian Barnard performed the world's first successful human heart transplant in 1967, a medical feat that made history. Today, the city balances science, tourism, and culture, with beaches, vineyards, and world-class restaurants coexisting beside historic sites and bustling townships. It's a city of paradoxes, extremes that challenge your expectations at every turn. Then there's sport. Rugby, cricket, and soccer aren't just games here. They're national passions. Rugby stadiums roar with energy, reflecting both fierce competition and collective pride. South Africa has won the Rugby World Cup 3 times, 1995, 2007, and 2019, each victory reinforcing a shared identity in a nation of diversity. Sports here are more than entertainment. They're a bridge between communities, a microcosm of South Africa's extremes in one space. Even daily life is layered with extremes, from urban nightlife that stretches until dawn to quiet rural villages where time seems frozen. The pace of life is unpredictable. One moment, you're sipping wine along Route 62. The next, you're learning traditional dance moves from local elders. Each experience feels like a collision of worlds, a reminder that South Africa thrives on contradictions. It's time to move to the extreme adventures and adrenaline that define this land. From the highest bungee jumps to the wildest safaris, where danger and beauty exist side by side. Adrenaline extremes, where fear meets wonder. South Africa isn't just a feast for the eyes. It's a playground for the fearless. If you crave adventure, this country raises the bar higher than almost anywhere else. Take Blukran's Bridge, tucked into the Tsitsikamma Mountains. At 216 meters, it's the highest commercial bungee jump in the world. Standing on that edge, wind in your face, the forest floor far below, it's impossible not to feel alive. And if you survive the jump, you'll probably want to do it again. Then there's the ocean. The waters off Gansby are famous for one thing: great white sharks. Cage diving here isn't a gimmick, it's an adrenaline test. You're in a metal cage, heart pounding, as one of the ocean's top predators glides past, jaws open. There's fear, awe, and an odd sense of intimacy with a creature that dominates its world. South Africa doesn't just offer adventure, it demands respect. For those who prefer land-based thrills, the Drakensberg Mountains call. Hiking trails wind through jagged peaks, waterfalls, and cliffs that drop into misty valleys. You can climb steep rock faces, traverse narrow ridges, or follow ancient sand rock art, evidence that humans have challenged these extremes for millennia. Adventure here isn't optional. It's written into the landscape. Even wildlife encounters are extreme. Safari drives through Kruger or Addo Elephant Park aren't like zoos. You're shoulder to shoulder with predators and giants. Elephants knocking down trees, lions hunting silently, and cheetahs sprinting faster than any car can manage. Every sighting carries tension, unpredictability, and awe. South Africa's wildlife doesn't just exist. It commands your attention. And adventure doesn't stop at natural extremes. Route 62, the world's longest wine route, doubles as a road trip playground. Vineyards, mountains, and deserts stretch for over 850 kilometers. Stop in small towns to sip award-winning wines, taste local cheeses, or meet farmers whose families have lived here for generations. Even slow adventures carry the thrill of discovery. Extreme sports, natural beauty, and raw adrenaline are part of the country's DNA, but so is balance. After a day of bungee jumps or shark dives, you can unwind in Cape Town, listening to the waves, or sip a glass of pinotage while watching a sunset over the winelands. South Africa teaches you extremes are better experienced side by side. Fear and beauty, danger and peace, the wild and the civilized. And if you think this is the end, there's still one more extreme to explore. A final reflection on why South Africa is the most extreme country on Earth, where nature, culture, and adventure collide in ways that challenge every sense and expectation. The ultimate extreme. Why South Africa defies expectations. After deserts, cities, mountains, and oceans, you start to understand why South Africa is called the most extreme country on Earth. It's not just the scenery, or the wildlife, or the adrenaline sports. It's the way extremes coexist, collide, and complement each other. One moment, you're watching penguins waddle on sunlit beaches. The next, lions stalk the savannah nearby. One day, you're sipping fine wine on Route 62. The next, you're plummeting off the world's highest bungee jump. It's a country that doesn't know the meaning of moderation. Look closer, and you see extremes in people too. 11 languages, dozens of cultures, centuries of history. Yet there's a resilience, a creativity, a rhythm that ties it all together. From the gold mines of Johannesburg to the vibrant streets of Durban, from Cape Town's District 6 to rural villages tucked into mountains, South Africans navigate contradictions with grace, humor, and an unstoppable energy. Every neighborhood, every township, every city has a story that pushes boundaries, blending past and future, tradition and innovation. Even the natural world refuses to settle. Table Mountain's flat summit, covered in a shifting tablecloth of clouds, overlooks a city alive with contrasts. The Congo caves hold 20-million-year-old limestone formations, while nearby ostriches sprint across open plains like living reminders that size, speed, and survival all demand attention. Whales breach offshore, great whites patrol the waters, and elephants roam freely in vast parks. Extremes exist not as anomalies, but as the baseline of life here. And adventure, South Africa's adrenaline factor, is everywhere. Shark cage diving, bungee jumping, surfing, hiking, safaris. These aren't rare experiences. They're woven into the fabric of the country. The thrill of fear, the awe of beauty, and the joy of discovery are constant companions. South Africa doesn't just offer stories. It delivers experiences that you feel in your bones. But perhaps the most extreme thing about this country is perspective. You start to realize that extremes aren't just about spectacle. They're about learning, understanding, and respecting differences. Whether it's culture, language, wildlife, or geography, every extreme teaches something. Patience, courage, curiosity, and humility become your guides, and the country becomes more than a place. It becomes an education in contrasts. South Africa doesn't ask you to adapt. It dares you to notice, participate, and be amazed. It's a nation of contradictions, challenges, and wonders that leave no sense untouched. And by the time you leave, you realize the truth. No single photo, video, or story can capture it fully. You have to live it, step into it, and let it change the way you see extremes. South Africa is more than a country. It's a collision of worlds, a symphony of contrasts, and a reminder that life, when lived at its edges, is breathtaking. And once you experience it, you'll never see extremes or the world the same way again. So, what is South Africa really? It's not just a country you visit. It's a place that stays with you, a land that balances extremes, the wild and the civilized, the ancient and the modern, the serene and the untamed. You come chasing lions, mountains, and oceans. But what you remember are the people. The winemaker in Stellenbosch, tending vineyards passed down for generations. The Zulu dancer, moving with a rhythm older than history itself. The Cape Town artist, painting penguins on beaches and skyscrapers in the same frame. Because in South Africa, progress doesn't erase the past. It stands beside it. Here, time doesn't flow in a straight line. It loops from 3-million-year-old hominid fossils in the cradle of humankind to the neon lights of Johannesburg's tech hubs, from the roar of an elephant on safari to the quiet hum of a fisherman on the wild coast. And as you leave, you realize South Africa isn't just a country of extremes. The landscapes, the wildlife, and the adventures were only the first chapter. The real story is life itself, vivid, unexpected, unapologetic, because this is a country that refuses to be simplified. It's not Table Mountain, not the deserts, not the wine routes, not the beaches. It's the space between them, where fear meets beauty, where past meets future, where humans meet the wild. That's South Africa. Not a destination, a revelation. What if a country were to break apart so completely that the world assumed it would never return? For Somalia, that moment lasted more than 30 years. War shattered cities, institutions vanished, families scattered across oceans. But here is the part almost no one talks about. Somalia did not disappear. It rebuilt itself, slowly, quietly, brick by brick, market by market, generation after generation. Today, Somalia is writing one of the most unexpected comeback stories on the African continent. The collapse. Somalia once stood at a major crossroads on the Indian Ocean. For centuries, traders came from Arabia, Persia, and the Swahili coast. Ports grew, cities expanded. Poetry and commerce shaped society. Mogadishu's streets echoed with the hum of merchants and sailors. Ships unloaded spices, incense, and cloth from distant lands. Markets thrived. Cafes brimmed with debates about poetry, politics, and trade. Education flourished, and Somali scholars traveled across Africa and the Middle East. Then, in 1991, everything fell. The government collapsed. Public services disappeared. Schools and hospitals shut down. Many cities turned into ruins. Streets once alive with laughter and trade became empty. Homes were abandoned. Mosques and libraries were looted. People fled. Families scattered across continents. Those who remained had to survive amid chaos and danger. Few nations have ever lost so much so fast. Somalia reached a point many believed was impossible to recover from. But even in the silence of broken streets, whispers of resilience quietly lingered. Survival without a state. During the hardest years, Somalis rebuilt life with their own hands. Markets reopened in broken streets. Fishermen kept sailing from old harbors, navigating waters that had once carried traders across centuries. Merchants created networks to move goods and money, using creativity and trust as their currency. Private telecom companies appeared amid the rubble. They built cell towers between ruined buildings. They offered cheap calls and mobile money long before many other countries even imagined it. The Hawala system, a centuries-old network of trusted couriers, grew stronger. Money moved across borders with handwritten codes, with no banks to oversee it, and no government to enforce it. Families could still send funds home from abroad. Shops, cafes, and informal schools became hubs of knowledge and community. Even in the absence of a formal state, culture thrived. Poetry continued to flourish in tea houses. Business deals were negotiated over cups of chai. Social ties held people together when institutions could not. Life in Somalia adapted, bending but never breaking. And in this quiet persistence, something remarkable took shape. A society was moving forward. Unplanned, unstructured, yet unstoppable. That's how Somalia learned to survive. not through law or order, but through resilience, innovation, and trust. Even without a government, the pulse of the nation kept beating. And somewhere in that pulse, the first sparks of a comeback were already flickering. Mogadishu, the resilient capital. Mogadishu began around 720 AD as a coastal trading hub. Ships docked along coral-stone streets, carrying spices, ivory, and cloth from distant lands. Markets overflowed with colors and scents: cardamom, frankincense, silk, and dried fish. Poets recited verses in shaded courtyards, weaving stories of traders, warriors, and kings. Over centuries, the city grew into a mosaic of culture and commerce. But when war erupted in 1991, Mogadishu bore the brunt of the destruction. Streets that once hummed with life fell silent. Homes and offices were abandoned. Crane skeletons rose over rubble like ghosts of progress. Yet, even in ruin, the heart of Mogadishu never stopped beating. Today, the city holds over 2.7 million people. Bright cafes sit along Lido Beach. New buildings rise beside old ruins, side by side with minarets and mosques that survived the decades. Construction cranes swing over the skyline, stitching together fragments of the past with visions of the future. Few people know the coastline glows blue and gold at sunrise. Waves lap softly along the sands, reflecting the city's resilience in shimmering light. Children play near restored markets, and fishermen sail beyond the harbor. Entrepreneurs rebuild trade networks that once spanned continents. In short, Mogadishu is a city that refuses to fade. Amid the ruins and cranes, the pulse of life continues, hinting at a story that stretches far beyond the waves. Hargeisa, the cultural heart of Somaliland. Hargeisa stands at 1,334 meters above sea level. Cool winds sweep across its rolling hills, carrying scents of frankincense and freshly baked bread. Colorful murals cover walls along quiet streets, telling stories of history, heritage, and hope. The city hums with the rhythm of life that has survived centuries of change. Just beyond the city, the famous Las Gil cave paintings cling to granite outcrops. They are over 5,000 years old. Figures raise their arms in eternal celebration. Cattle, hunters, and ritual scenes remain vivid in reds, yellows, and whites. Each brush stroke whispers the story of a people deeply connected to the land. Hargeisa balances modern growth with this profound cultural memory. Markets bustle late into the night. Vendors sell spices, textiles, and handcrafted jewelry. Poets gather in tea houses, reciting verses that echo the city's long history of storytelling. Schools, cafes, and small tech hubs emerge alongside historic mosques and colonial-era buildings. The city has become a meeting place of past and present, a hub where tradition and ambition coexist. Children play near fountains that mirror the nearby mountains, while artisans continue crafts passed down for generations. And yet, beneath the vibrant streets and colorful walls, one can sense the quiet heartbeat of resilience, a community determined to preserve its roots while reaching for the future. Hargeisa is a cultural anchor for the Somali people, a city where history lingers in every corner, hinting at stories yet untold beyond its hills. Berbera, the ancient port. Berbera sits almost at sea level, only 3 meters above the ocean. Warm winds sweep across long, golden sandy beaches. Waves lap gently at the shore. Cargo ships line the deep-water harbor. Seagulls wheel overhead, circling the bustling docks. This port served traders in Egyptian and Greek times. It linked Africa to Arabia for thousands of years. Spices, incense, and livestock passed through its docks. Merchants haggled, sailors unloaded crates, and stories traveled faster than ships. Berbera's importance only grew with time. It became a gateway for culture, ideas, and commerce. Even during years of conflict, traders continued to arrive. The port adapted. Old warehouses became markets. Ships brought goods from distant lands. Today, new terminals expand at a rapid pace. Containers rise like towers along the waterfront. Cranes swing with precision. Berbera grows into one of the Horn's most important commercial gateways. Fishermen still sail alongside cargo ships. Markets hum with activity. Local merchants sell fish, spices, and handmade crafts. So, Berbera is a port shaped by ancient trade and modern ambition. It carries the weight of history in its sand and salt. And as the waves touch the shoreline, whispers of stories from distant lands continue to echo. A reminder that every trade route has its secrets, waiting just beyond the horizon. La Skille, the rock art wonder. La Skille stands on a granite outcrop at 950 meters above sea level. The caves sit beneath dry skies and bright, unyielding sunlight. Wind brushes over the rocks. Shadows shift across the uneven surfaces. Inside are paintings over 5,000 years old. Figures raise their arms in ritual or celebration. Cattle stand in red, white, and yellow. Hunters and herders appear, frozen in time. The colors are astonishingly bright. They look freshly painted even today. Discovered only in 2002, the site quickly became a national treasure. Archaeologists and visitors alike marvel at the detail. Every brushstroke tells a story of early Somali life. The paintings reveal cattle, ceremonies, and human connection to nature. They offer a rare window into the beliefs and artistry of ancient communities. The caves sit quietly, almost hidden. Few tourists visit each year, leaving the silence almost sacred. The surrounding hills echo with the wind and distant bird calls. That's how La Skille is one of Africa's most vivid prehistoric art sites. It reminds us that culture can endure long after empires rise and fall, and in those bright pigments on stone, you can sense a story waiting to leap forward. A story that might just meet the footsteps of the people rebuilding Somalia today. Kismayo, the Southern Gateway, Kismayo lies where the Juba River meets the Indian Ocean. Green water flows into deep blue waves. Palm trees sway along the coast. The sun sparkles on the river, catching the eyes of fishermen and traders alike. It is Somalia's third largest city, with over 1.2 million people. The port connects inland farms to the sea. Boats carry bananas, sugar, and rice, moving goods toward distant markets. Markets overflow with fresh fish, rice, fruit, and spices. Shoppers haggle with merchants, while the scent of fried fish drifts through the air. Kismayo's river-ocean link makes it vital for southern trade. Farmers rely on the port to send crops far from the fertile Juba Valley. Ships arrive from distant countries, bringing goods that local vendors sell at bustling stalls. Children run along the shoreline. Fishermen cast nets. Life moves with the rhythm of the water. The city has grown steadily, balancing trade, culture, and history. It is shaped by two waters, the river and the ocean, each carrying stories, commerce, and life. The ebb and flow of tides mirrors the resilience of its people. In conclusion, Kismayo is a city molded by water and trade. And as the tides shift, hints of journeys yet to be taken ripple across the waves, whispering of connections that stretch far beyond the southern coast. Bosaso, the city of winds. Bosaso stands on the Gulf of Aden. The ocean stretches wide, reflecting the sun in silver and gold. Winds sweep through the streets almost every afternoon. They carry the scent of salt, fish, and distant lands. Waves crash against sharp, rocky shores. The city is Puntland's main commercial center. Around 235,000 people live here. Shops, banks, and shipping offices line the coastline. Goods arrive from across the globe. Containers are loaded and unloaded, while merchants negotiate deals. Bosaso connects northern Somalia to international trade routes. It is a bridge between land and sea, past and future. Camels are still seen on nearby roads, blending with trucks and motorbikes. The port hums with activity day and night. Fishermen sail past cargo ships. Market stalls overflow with fruits, fish, and textiles. The city thrives on wind and water. Wind shapes the streets. Wind carries stories. It whispers of opportunities, of fortunes made and lost. Bosaso is a windy and powerful economic hub. Its gusts sweep over commerce, culture, and connection. And if you listen closely, the wind seems to carry hints of ambitions yet to be realized, whispering promises that stretch far beyond the Gulf of Aden. Puntland, the Star of the North. Puntland became an autonomous state in 1998. It covers 212 12,510 square kilometers. Its population reaches around 4.3 million. The region balances local governance with Somali identity. Customs and traditions remain strong. Leaders manage local affairs while keeping connections to the wider Somali nation. Bosaso serves as Puntland's main commercial port. Ships arrive from across the Gulf of Aden. Containers are loaded and unloaded. Merchants navigate deals with efficiency and trust. The terrain shifts from hot plains to rocky highlands. Wide, dusty landscapes stretch for miles. Camels and goats wander across the earth. Villagers tend to their animals. Fishermen sail near calm, long coastlines. Waves lap gently against sandy beaches. Trade, culture, and tradition move together here. Local markets hum with activity. Schools teach the next generation. Small towns blend with rugged landscapes. Puntland stands as a key pillar of stability in northern Somalia. It provides governance, commerce, and culture where chaos once reigned. Its people endure. Its ports thrive. Its lands sustain. In summary, Puntland is a land of resilience and balance, a place where winds, waves, and dust shape life. And in that rhythm, hints of growth and ambition move quietly, ready to ripple outward like waves across the Horn of Africa. Jubaland, the land of rivers. Jubaland lies in Somalia's fertile south. It was recognized as a federal state in 2013. The region holds around 3.3 million people. The land is lush and green. Fields stretch farther than the eye can see. The Juba River winds through the valley. Its water nourishes farms and villages. Banana fields ripple in the breeze. Rice paddies shimmer under the sun. Ferries drift slowly across calm, green waters. Kismayo serves as the region's main port. It links river harvests to the ocean. Traders load goods onto ships bound for distant markets. Local markets bustle with fresh produce, fish, and spices. Farmers sell crops. Fishermen bring in the catch. Life in Jubaland flows with the river. The water shapes the rhythm of work and play. Children run along river banks. Boats glide silently under the sun. Villages thrive along the fertile shores. The region blends natural beauty with economic vitality. Green fields, flowing rivers, and coastal trade all work together. It is a land shaped by water, soil, and the hands of its people. That's why Jubaland is a land of abundance and motion. The river carries life and opportunity. And somewhere in the calm and currents, hints of growth ripple quietly, as if the waters themselves are whispering secrets of Somalia's rising future. Somalia's national parks, nature's hidden gems. Somalia has 6 official national parks. They include Jilib, Hobyo, Dalo Forest, and Lag Badana. Each park is a world of its own, a sanctuary of life, surviving against all odds. Lag Badana National Park was created in 1989. It stretches along a long southern coastline. Bright sandy beaches host nesting sea turtles. Mangrove forests shelter quiet birds. The wind rustles through leaves. Waves crash gently on shores. Dalo Forest rises in the Sanag Mountains. Mist drifts through deep valleys. Tall juniper trees cling to cliffs. Rare species hide among cold, rocky slopes. The forest feels timeless. Sunlight filters through leaves. Animals move quietly beneath the canopy. Other parks, like Jilib and Hobyo, hold deserts, savannas, and hills. They offer glimpses of wild Somalia that few ever see. Gazelles leap across plains. Birds swoop over rivers. The land pulses with life. Somalia's national parks reveal a green and peaceful side of the country. They are hidden treasures that survive far from cities and conflict. And in these quiet places, whispers of nature's resilience hint at the larger story. A country not just rebuilding cities, but nurturing life in every corner, seen and unseen. The return of the diaspora. Somalis from around the world returned home. Doctors flew from London. Engineers arrived from Minneapolis. Entrepreneurs came from Dubai and Nairobi. They carried skills, knowledge, and hope. Clinics reopened. Hospitals filled with life again. Tech startups launched in quiet streets. Internet cafes and co-working spaces appeared. Young workers learned new trades. Mobile money systems expanded. Ideas flowed as freely as the rivers. Diaspora members did more than work. They revived culture and community. Schools, libraries, and art centers opened. Film groups recorded local stories. Entrepreneurs trained the next generation. Markets buzzed with new energy. Cities transformed slowly but surely. Skyline cranes moved beside ancient ruins. Streets that once lay silent echoed with life. Communities rebuilt trust and connection. Trade networks stretched from ports to inland towns. In summary, the diaspora became one of Somalia's greatest strengths. Their return sparked growth in health, education, and technology. And quietly, they helped stitch together a nation once torn apart. Some of the brightest sparks of Somalia's future are already walking its streets, leaving trails that hint at stories still unfolding. A new generation. Millions of young Somalis were born after the darkest years. They grew up with mobile phones and internet access. Screens glow in classrooms and cafes. They scroll, type, and connect with the world. They study programming, business, and design. Some code apps in modest rooms. Others sketch blueprints for startups. Ideas move faster than ever before. tech hubs appear in Mogadishu, Hargeisa, Garowe, and Baidoa. Film groups capture stories of resilience. Startups experiment with mobile payments, delivery services, and farming innovations. Even small projects spark big change. Youth energy drives streets, markets, and classrooms. Social media connects them to mentors abroad. Entrepreneurs learn from distant success. They share ideas, skills, and hope. This generation pushes the country forward with fresh goals. They think globally, act locally. They rebuild communities while shaping commerce, art, and technology. In short, Somalia's future rests on energy, youth, and ambition. The new generation carries lessons from the past. They hold the promise of cities that rise, of culture that thrives, of systems that endure. And somewhere in their hands, ideas flicker like sparks, ready to light the next chapter of a country once thought lost. Somalia's story is not simple. It is not easy, and it is definitely not finished. But after 30 years of war, the country rebuilt its own systems. It restored its cities. It revived its culture. And it continues to rise through strength, resilience, and unity. So here is the final question. If a nation can return from the darkest years of its history, what else is possible? Make sure to like and subscribe for more stories from around the world. Explore the links in the description for more videos, updates, and behind-the-scenes content. What if the land that gave the world its deepest river also hides some of its darkest struggles? This is the Congo, where the rainforest stretches farther than you can imagine. Breathing life into the planet. And yet millions go without clean water. Where lava glows in the night atop an ancient volcano. And the cities hum with music that shaped a continent. You've heard of coltan, cobalt, diamonds, but what you haven't seen is how they live alongside hardship, hope, and untold stories. From the banks of the Congo River to the heart of Kinshasa, every corner is alive, complex, unforgettable. The richest land that remains broken, and once you see it, you won't forget it. Land of giants and depths. Step into the Congo, and you immediately feel the scale. Not just the scale of the rainforest, but the scale of possibility and paradox. The Congo Basin rainforest spans over 500 million acres, second only to the Amazon. Trees tower like skyscrapers, their roots tangled in secrets older than most civilizations. This forest isn't just scenery, it's a life force, a carbon sink holding the planet's breath, regulating weather and sheltering creatures the world barely knows exist. And then there's the river, the Congo River. Africa's second longest, yes, but the deepest on Earth. Some points plunge over 220 meters, longer than most skyscrapers are tall. Try to imagine a river so wide it makes cities feel like tiny dots on its banks. Kinshasa and Brazzaville, capitals on opposite sides, face each other across the water, separated by nothing more than a few kilometers of turbulent flow. One glance and you realize this isn't just geography. It's a pulse, a highway of culture, trade, and history. But the Congo isn't flat or gentle. Mountains rise suddenly. The Virunga Range houses Nyiragongo, a volcano with one of the few permanent lava lakes on the planet. At night, it glows ominously red, a molten warning and a natural spectacle. People live in the shadow of this fire, resilient and accustomed to the tension of beauty and danger mingling. The terrain itself seems to tell stories. Dense forests give way to savannas, waterways twist through valleys. Every bend of the river hides a new possibility. Hidden villages, secret waterfalls, and local legends. Some whisper of Mokele-mbembe, a dinosaur-like creature lurking in the wetlands. While science hasn't confirmed it, the mystery adds a layer of intrigue. You feel it. The land is alive, watching, holding its secrets tight. And yet, for all this natural abundance, the Congo faces profound contradictions. The soil beneath your feet is rich with cobalt, coltan, gold, and diamonds, minerals that power your phone, your laptop, your car. Yet the people around these riches live with scarcity. Villages without electricity, communities without basic health care. The land provides endlessly, but its wealth is unevenly shared. Traveling deeper, you see the rainforest isn't empty. Bonobos roam the canopy, our closest relatives, moving in matriarchal societies, solving conflicts without violence. Okapis, forest giraffes, peek through the undergrowth, their stripes catching the dappled sunlight. These creatures are rare. They are hidden. They are reminders that the Congo doesn't give itself up easily. It rewards patience, curiosity, and respect. Even the human pulse is extraordinary. The riverbanks bustle with life. Fishing boats carve paths through misty mornings. Markets sell fresh fish, cassava, and vegetables, while music, rumba, sukus, drifts through the streets, a heartbeat connecting the past to today. Kinshasa's energy contrasts with remote villages' quiet persistence. Every corner is a lesson in contrast. Life and struggle, abundance and need, noise and silence. And as you step back to take it all in, you realize the Congo isn't a single story. It's a collection of ecosystems, cultures, and contradictions layered on top of each other. This is a land of depth, literally, with rivers and valleys, and metaphorically, with stories waiting for the patient traveler. But the forests, rivers, and volcanoes only scratch the surface. Beneath the soil lies a different kind of wealth. And understanding that is where the Congo's next secret begins to unfold. one that has shaped global technology, economies, and human ambition in ways few realize. Buried gold and modern tech. Beneath the lush forests and winding rivers lies a treasure trove the world can't live without. The Democratic Republic of the Congo is often called the coltan capital of the world, and for good reason. Over 60% of the planet's coltan reserves are here. Coltan isn't just a rock, it's the reason your smartphone works, why laptops stay charged, and why electric vehicles can even exist. Every time you swipe, tap, or plug in, you're touching something born in these forests. And it doesn't stop there. Congo is the cobalt king. More than 70% of global cobalt comes from here, powering the rechargeable batteries that fuel our modern lives. Think about that for a second. This single country literally drives the energy of the digital world. Yet, if you walk through the streets of Lubumbashi or remote mining towns, you see another reality. The electricity flickers, roads crumble, and families work in dangerous conditions just to survive. Gold, diamonds, and copper lie beneath the same soil, gleaming with potential, yet most of it never touches the hands of the people who dig it. Artisanal miners, often children, work in shafts so narrow and deep that a wrong move could be fatal. The contrast is stark. This is a country that could be the richest on Earth, yet remains one of the poorest. The paradox is almost tangible. Tech companies, mining conglomerates, and governments all circle this wealth. Contracts are signed, trucks rumble, and the minerals flow overseas. But the Congo rarely sees the benefits directly. Infrastructure struggles, healthcare is limited, and education, critical for turning potential into opportunity, remains a distant goal for many communities. You start to see how the richness of the land and the poverty of its people coexist like two opposing forces, each shaping the other. Yet even amid these challenges, innovation sparks. In Kinshasa, young engineers repurpose old electronics. They build startups from rooftops, using coltan indirectly to power ideas that might one day change Africa's tech landscape. It's an unlikely synergy. A country weighed down by its own resources, yet producing ingenuity that rivals anywhere in the world. You see it in the rhythm of the streets, the markets alive with energy, the music that blends, tradition with modernity. It's all innovation, survival, and resilience intertwined. And let's not forget the human element behind these minerals. Many communities have generations tied to mining. Skills are passed down like stories. Parents teach children the art of extraction, the handling of precious metals, the understanding of geology, but also caution. Because here, a single misstep can be costly. Life and livelihood balance on the edge of these raw materials. The Congo's wealth isn't just in minerals, it's in potential. Every mine, every river port, every market holds the possibility of transformation. But tapping into it responsibly requires understanding the layers beneath. Geology, economy, culture, and global demand all intertwine. And as you watch the world's gadgets glow in your hands, remember, Congo's soil is the hidden engine powering them. Yet, minerals alone don't define the Congo. The next layer of intrigue comes from its wildlife and biodiversity, a kingdom hidden in green shadows, alive with creatures found nowhere else on Earth. The hidden kingdom of life. Step off the beaten path, into the heart of the Congo rainforest, and you enter a world that feels untouched by time. This isn't just a jungle. It's a living, breathing kingdom where every leaf, vine, and shadow has a story. The air is heavy with humidity, alive with the calls of birds, insects, and unseen creatures. You realize quickly, the Congo doesn't give itself away easily. To understand it, you have to look, listen, and respect its secrets. Take the okapi, for example. Known as the forest giraffe, it looks like a cross between a zebra and a giraffe. Its stripes like delicate brush strokes in the undergrowth. Native only to the Democratic Republic of the Congo, it remained unknown to science until the 20th century. Seeing one, even in photographs, feels like glimpsing a creature from another world. And in these forests, the okapi isn't alone. Bonobos roam freely, our closest cousins in the primate family. Unlike chimpanzees, bonobos are peaceful, matriarchal, and remarkably empathetic. Observing them, or imagining their social dances among the treetops, offers a glimpse of what human communities could aspire to: cooperation over conflict. The Congo is also home to legends that blur the line between fact and myth. Mokele Mbembe, the so-called Congo dinosaur, is said to roam the river's hidden channels. Scientists have yet to confirm it, but the story has persisted for generations. Fishermen and villagers speak of it in hushed tones, as if acknowledging something ancient still survives, unseen. Whether it exists or not, the legend adds to the forest's aura of mystery, a place where reality and imagination intertwine. Volcanoes, too, shape this natural tapestry. Nyiragongo's permanent lava lake casts a red glow over the surrounding land at night. It's both terrifying and mesmerizing, a reminder that nature in the Congo isn't tame. Forests and rivers can be serene, but the ground beneath can burn with molten fury at any moment. It's a land of extremes, and life here has adapted to thrive in contrast. Biodiversity isn't just exotic creatures, it's a survival network. Trees tower hundreds of feet, creating multiple layers of habitat. Birds flit through the canopy. Insects pollinate flowers unseen, and tiny frogs leap in perfect camouflage. Every species, visible or hidden, plays a role in keeping this rainforest alive. And yet, this delicate system faces constant threats. Deforestation, illegal logging, and mining can strip away centuries of ecological balance in just a few years. The human footprint is small compared to the scale of the forest, but it can have outsized consequences. Even rivers host hidden life. The Congo River isn't just deep, it's a laboratory of evolution. Unique fish species, some glowing in the dark depths, thrive in its currents. aquatic plants sway like dancers, creating microhabitats that sustain both wildlife and human communities along the riverbanks. The water isn't just a resource. It's life, myth, and mystery all in one. Walking through this hidden kingdom, it's impossible not to feel humbled. The Congo isn't just about minerals, cities, or politics. It's about life in its most intricate, interconnected, and surprising forms. Every step, every rustle of leaves, every distant howl reminds you, this land is alive in ways the modern world can barely comprehend. And yet, as magnificent as the forests are, there's another story quietly unfolding, the human story. The people of the Congo have shaped and been shaped by this biodiversity for centuries, their culture, music, and livelihoods deeply entwined with the land. Understanding this connection is where the next layer of Congo's complex identity begins, a chapter where culture, history, and society converge in ways that will surprise even the most seasoned traveler. Heartbeats of the Congo, culture and history. Step into Kinshasa and you feel it immediately, the rhythm. Not just the beat of music, but the pulse of a city that refuses to be quiet. Congolese rumba, soukous, and modern hip-hop collide in crowded streets, open-air markets, and rooftop cafes. Music isn't just entertainment here, it's a lifeline, a way to celebrate, resist, and remember. Artists like Franco and Papa Wemba didn't just make songs, they captured the soul of a nation, weaving history, struggle, and hope into melodies that echo across Africa and beyond. But Congo's culture isn't confined to the cities. Step into a village along the river, and traditions still breathe in daily life. Markets bustle with produce, fish, and handmade crafts. Women in vibrant prints balance goods on their heads with effortless grace. Children dart between stalls, barefoot, laughing, learning the rhythm of life before school even begins. Music flows here too, but it's intertwined with dance, storytelling, and communal memory, a living archive of hundreds of ethnic groups, each with its own language, ritual, and wisdom. The Democratic Republic of the Congo is the largest French-speaking country in the world by population, more than France itself. But the country speaks in many voices. Over 200 languages echo through forests, cities, and riversides. Lingala, Swahili, Kikongo, Chiluba. Each word carries history, identity, and pride. Language here isn't just communication. It's survival, connection, and celebration all at once. History weighs heavily, too. The Congo has endured centuries of external exploitation, colonial rule, and political upheaval. The scars are visible in abandoned factories, decaying infrastructure, and tales passed down through generations. Yet resilience defines this nation. People find ways to thrive, to adapt, and to create beauty amid chaos. Art, music, and festivals aren't distractions. They're lifelines, proof that life continues, no matter how heavy the past. Even the urban layout tells stories. Kinshasa and Brazzaville, the world's closest capital cities, face each other across the Congo River. Ships ferry goods, ideas, and people, bridging centuries of connection and tension. Each city has its own personality. Kinshasa, chaotic and bustling, overflowing with music and markets. Brazzaville, quieter but steeped in history, its streets echoing French colonial architecture alongside modern developments. Together, they illustrate Congo's contradictions: wealth and struggle, history and modernity, beauty and chaos. Religion and spirituality are woven into everyday life. Churches, mosques, and traditional shrines coexist, shaping festivals, rituals, and daily choices. Beliefs aren't just personal, they're communal, influencing how people interact with one another, with nature, and with the challenges they face. Spirituality and tradition exist alongside a drive for modernization, creating a society that's constantly balancing past and future. And food. Oh, the food. Cassava, plantains, grilled fish from the river, spicy stews, and street snacks sold from carts along busy avenues. Every bite tells a story of geography, history, and adaptation. Meals are social, celebratory, and deeply rooted in identity. They connect people across generations and regions, offering continuity amid rapid change. Congo's culture is alive, complex, and defiant. It's a place where music, history, language, and ritual collide in vivid, unexpected ways. You feel it in the laughter, the songs, the markets, and the streets. But even culture doesn't exist in isolation. Congo's story emerges further when you explore how its economy, politics, and social structures interact with this rich tapestry of life, the forces that shape opportunity, power, and resilience in the modern age. Power, struggle, and survival. The Congo's beauty and wealth are undeniable, but its politics and societal structure tell a story of contrast that can feel almost surreal. This is a nation where natural abundance coexists with scarcity, where mineral riches fuel global technology, while local communities scramble for basic necessities. Understanding the Congo means understanding these tensions, the interplay of power, history, and survival. Political instability has shaped the country for decades. From the era of Mobutu Sese Seko's authoritarian rule to civil wars that scarred the landscape, governance in the Congo has often been fragile. Elections can be moments of hope or tension, depending on who controls the machinery of power. Yet even amid this fragility, local leaders, activists, and ordinary citizens find ways to influence change, protect communities, and keep daily life moving forward. It's a nation where resilience isn't optional, it's survival. Society itself reflects this balance of hope and hardship. Urban areas like Kinshasa are bustling hubs of culture, commerce, and innovation, but also of inequality. Skyscrapers and luxury shops exist side by side with informal settlements and struggling neighborhoods. In rural areas, villages endure with limited access to health care, schools, and infrastructure, relying on community bonds and traditional knowledge to navigate challenges. These contrasts aren't just statistics, they're lived experiences shaping the daily rhythms of millions. Economically, the Congo is a paradox.
La République du Congo!
Mineral wealth drives global industries, yet the local economy struggles to provide stable livelihoods. Families depend on artisanal mining, agriculture, or small-scale trade, while the fruits of the land often leave the country before they can improve local conditions. Infrastructure gaps, roads, electricity, and clean water compound these challenges. Even simple acts, like transporting goods from a village to a city, can become logistical puzzles, requiring ingenuity and persistence at every step. Corruption and governance issues often amplify these difficulties. Resources intended for public development sometimes get diverted, creating cycles of frustration and inequality. Yet the Congolese people adapt. Informal economies thrive. Entrepreneurs, small business owners, and community initiatives step in where government programs falter. There's creativity in survival, a drive to innovate and connect even when systems seem stacked against you. And then there's the international layer. Global demand for cobalt, coltan, and other minerals ensures that the Congo is never isolated from world markets, but it also places tremendous pressure on local communities. Companies, investors, and governments all compete for access to resources, sometimes fueling conflict or exploitation. The country's geopolitical importance is immense, yet the benefits for everyday citizens can feel distant and abstract. But despite these obstacles, hope persists in ways you can see and feel. Grassroots organizations work to improve education, healthcare, and environmental conservation. Young Congolese leaders launch startups and creative ventures, turning scarcity into opportunity. Music, art, and culture continue to thrive, offering both resilience and global influence. You realize that power and struggle are not just obstacles. They are forces that shape ingenuity, identity, and survival in the Congo. And just when you think the story has been told, the Congo reminds you that its most compelling secrets aren't above ground. The soil, the forests, the rivers, these are the elements that sustain life, culture, and economy alike. They hold lessons about balance, sustainability, and the connection between humanity and nature, waiting for those patient enough to explore. Lastly, let's talk about potential, transformation, and the future. In the Congo, every path through the forest, every river bend, every urban street is an invitation to witness what might come next. And the last layer of this journey reveals a truth both stark and inspiring. The Congo may be broken, but it is far from defeated. The future of a richly broken land. As you step back and take in the Congo's rivers, forests, and bustling cities, one thing becomes clear. This is a country of contradictions, but also of untapped potential. The land beneath your feet, the water flowing through its veins, and the people walking its streets are all part of a story that is far from finished. the Congo's wealth isn't just measured in minerals or natural wonders. It's in ideas, resilience, and the possibility of transformation. Look at the minerals again: cobalt, coltan, gold, diamonds. They power the world's technology, but they also offer an opportunity for Congo itself to rise. Imagine a future where local communities benefit directly from these resources. Where artisanal miners gain fair wages, and where technology and education empower a generation that understands both the global stage and their own backyard. The potential is staggering, and it's already being glimpsed in pockets of innovation across the country. Cities like Kinshasa are evolving into hubs of creativity and entrepreneurship. Rooftop cafes host coding workshops, art studios echo with modern interpretations of traditional music, and marketplaces hum with ideas as much as goods. The youth are no longer passive observers. They are shaping solutions for energy, education, and commerce, even while navigating the challenges of infrastructure and governance. These urban experiments are microcosms of what the entire country could become if investment, policy, and creativity align. Nature, too, is central to the Congo's future. The rainforest is more than a backdrop. It's a global asset, a carbon sink vital to slowing climate change. Conservation efforts are gaining traction, protecting bonobos, okapis, and countless other species, while creating opportunities for ecotourism and sustainable development. People who live near these forests are finding ways to preserve biodiversity while supporting their families, a balance that demonstrates the delicate dance between progress and preservation. And the river, the Congo River, continues to shape life in profound ways. Beyond being Africa's deepest river, it is a highway for trade, a source of food, and a cultural connector between communities and nations. Hydroelectric projects are emerging, promising energy solutions for urban and rural areas alike. If managed responsibly, these developments could light homes, power schools, and provide infrastructure that has eluded generations. The river is both a symbol and a tool of potential. Culture remains the beating heart. Music, art, and storytelling aren't just pastimes. They are vehicles of identity, history, and vision. Congolese rumba, soukous, and contemporary beats continue to influence the world. At the same time, festivals, ceremonies, and local traditions ground communities, reminding everyone that progress needn't erase heritage. The Congo's future will likely be defined by this interplay: innovation rooted in culture, technology balanced by respect for tradition, and ambition tempered by resilience. So, what does the Congo become next? A global powerhouse in natural resources and tech innovation. A hub for culture and creativity in Africa, perhaps both intertwined. The journey isn't simple, and challenges remain. Political instability, inequality, and environmental threats are real. But beneath these struggles lies a nation capable of remarkable transformation. Walking through the forests, across rivers, and into the heart of Kinshasa, You sense it. The Congo is alive, vibrant, and waiting. Broken? Yes, but not defeated. Its rivers flow, its forests breathe, its people persist. The story isn't finished, and that is what makes it so compelling. The Congo is a mirror of possibility, a reminder that even in complexity, resilience and potential can coexist. The richest land that remains broken may one day be remembered not just for what it produces for the world, but for what it becomes for itself. And when that day comes, the Congo won't just be seen, it will be felt everywhere.